at the end of the day, buy pressure, liquidity, and community are all that matter. And we're going to run through this white paper. It's really important that you've done this. If you know of anybody that has not actually gone through the white paper, go ahead and send them this video. So let's look at the TitanX win Pumpamentals. The sole design purpose for TitanX is to reduce supply and programmatic buy pressure through smart contracts and drive demand to the ecosystem through various avenues and game theory mechanics. Okay? Here are the main Pumpamentals for the TitanX ecosystem. TitanX has staking mechanics where users can earn massive ETH yield compared to other cryptos. To do so, they have to lock up their coins for certain duration. The longer they lock up, the more ETH yield they get. This mimics a certificate of deposit system used in banks. When these users are locked to earn yield, they can't sell. When they can't sell, there's less TitanX on the market, so it becomes more scarce and more valuable to get. They, in essence, get rewarded handsomely for protecting the price. Now, what does that mean? That is when you go into TitanX app.titanx.win, you go to stake. And when you go to stake, you will connect your wallet, and then you'll be able to see what you could stake and what kind of bonuses you could make payouts in ETH. So staking is an option. Because of the supply lockup mechanisms inside of TitanX, that also means the liquidity pool for TitanX will be able to be kept small so that the buy and burn has maximum effect on pushing up the price and the burning of the supply off the market forever. Okay, so the idea is to have a hyperinflationary token and then a hyperdeflationary token as time goes on. TitanX also has a proof of burn 2.0 mechanism built into where developers within the ecosystem can use the TitanX to launch their own tokens. And when they do so, that TitanX gets burned out of existence forever, which means it can never be sold. There's a constant buy and burning from miners. Getting started makes TitanX more and more scarce to obtain over time. This buying happens programmatically through smart contracts and is completely decentralized, and all public functions are called by users. Okay, very important. All public functions are called by users. It's pretty cool, guys. This is code on a blockchain. Now, there are some admin functions in TitanX, but for the most part, it's code on a blockchain. Every day through the daily update function, the amount of TitanX that can be mined is reduced. Okay, we're going to get into the daily update function here in a second. But every day through the daily update function, the amount of TitanX that can be mined is reduced and becomes more expensive to mine over time, increasing the ETH cost. So when you're looking at this mining, down here it says next difficulty increase. This is every day it becomes a little bit harder to mine TitanX. You get a little bit less and pay a little bit more. This creates scarcity and is more aggressive than a Bitcoin halving and happens every day. I'm going to get into the daily update in the docs for more information. The general rule is today is always better than tomorrow. There's 6 more hours until the difficulty increases. Price of ETH goes up a little bit, and the amount of TitanX that you can mine goes down a little bit every day. So that's very, very cool mechanism right there. Okay. This is a more aggressive version of the 4-year Bitcoin halving. The TitanX daily reductions add up to more than 1 halving per year, plus the ETH cost increase. So when ETH goes up, technically, that should drive the price of TitanX up as well. This pushes up the cost of the production floor over time as it becomes harder and harder to produce 1 TitanX as time goes on. 5 key Pumpamentals. The massive buy and burn pressure on small liquidity pools. Large portion of the supply is staked because users want massive ETH payouts. Large portion of supply burned because users want to participate in projects plus get ETH payouts. It becomes harder and more expensive to create with every passing day. The future supply miners are burnable as well. Creating a supply... Okay, this is interesting, guys. I actually heard Jake say that this was possible, but that I thought he said that he was not going to implement this. The future supply or miners are burnable. So they are burnable technically. He said he has a smart contract in order to burn them, but he said he doesn't want to be burning them right now. He only wants to possibly burn stakes for Shogun. So I actually don't know about this right here, but it is in the white paper, so we should probably ask about it. Also, the cherry on top is that TitanX is at its core a leveraged play on the value of ETH. To create miners, people use ETH plus time. As ETH gets more expensive and more globally adopted, the value of TitanX should grow with it because it's directly tied to it. The ratio is set and only becomes harder and more expensive to mine over time. Okay? Let's get into virtual mining. This is not like Bitcoin, okay? Virtual mining is code. It's not hardware that's doing the work. But you create your own coins. That's the very cool part of TitanX. The supply is built by us, by mining, using ETH plus time. And it's all done through self-custody. So Titan is built with self-custody, censorship resistance, and pure DeFi DNA at its core. We believe in humans' freedom to transact and do with their finances what they want. When you go to the mine page, you can specify the number of days you want to mine for, the number of power you want the miner to have, and then the number of days you pick from 1 to 280 days, and the power you choose depend on the amount of TitanX you get at the end of your miner. Here's the formulas for the mining formula, the mining cost formula. Miners can be created in 3 ways, all to do the same thing, just differently and easier for the user. Single miners, this will create a normal single miner. Batch mining is pretty cool. This will allow you to automatically create up to 100 miners at a time, saving you the hassle of having to create miners individually. This also uses the contracts miners function to create your miners for you. So outcome is the same, just multiplied by whatever number of miners you batch create. The mining ladder. This will create a mining ladder for you using the contract's single miner function at the interval rate you specified at the power you specify. More details on the virtual mining page. That's interesting. I'm not quite familiar with that yet. Minting bonuses, early adoption amplifier. This bonus starts at 10% and works its way down to 0% in 350 days. So we are on day 92. So there's still a lot of days to be getting an early adoption amplifier. But after day 350, this is going to be 0 and it'll never go up again. Burn bonus multiplier. You can get up to 8% extra on your new miners if you've burned 80 billion Titan. I'm not burning 80 billion Titan, but AwesomeX, when it's launched, we will be burning up to 100 billion TitanX. And actually, it's probably going to be 80 billion. It's going to hit this cap, and then those funds are going to be moved to another pool, but I'll be talking about that later. They're going to be moving to stake rewards once we hit this 80 billion. You can get up to 8% extra on your new miner if you've burned 80 billion Titan. This bonus starts at 0 for new wallets, and the more they burn, the more they get, up to 8%. This is to reward burners, acts like a loyalty program. T-rank bonuses. That's really going to come into play more for the people launching on top of TitanX. Those people that are just buying it and holding it, like they're not going to want to burn it right now. T-rank bonuses. When you create a miner, you get assigned a T-rank, which is a Titan rank on that specific miner. This T-rank determines where you start earning rewards from. As people start miners after you, they give your miners extra bonuses. This T-rank bonus starts at 2200 TitanX per max power miner that starts after you. It's 22 TitanX per 1 power after you. This is based on mining power instead of T-ranks to prevent whale abuse of the bonuses. In essence, this means that you get rewarded for helping bring adoption to the ecosystem and helping it grow. So if someone starts 100 power miners, you get a higher T-rank bonus. If someone starts 1 power miner, you get the same T-rank bonus divided by 100. Here's the formula. Mining power determines how much TitanX you get per day in your miner. It also determines how much ETH your miner costs. So you saw me messing with the miner power here. If you want to batch create, you want to spend a specific amount of ETH. You just want to batch as much as you can. So say you only want to spend, you do 2 miners at 2 max miners, you're going to be at 0.4 ETH. 3 max miners, you're going to be at, no, not 23, 3 max miners. You'll be at 1.4 ETH. If you hit 5 max miners, I think you're basically at like an ETH. A little bit over an ETH with 5 max miners. So you want to do them all in one shot. However much you have to drop in. This is not financial advice. Do not buy because I say this. But for me, the white paper will tell you it's not beneficial to do 10 at 20 power, you know, versus 1 at 100 power or 2 at 100 power. It's going to be the same. So that's what, 4.4302 to 0.4302. It's the exact same. And it doesn't benefit you to do more miners. It's actually probably a little bit better, not in any benefit of a way, just to have less miners keeping track of. So less miners is better because you have to mine them. There are penalties, which we're going to get into here in a second. Note, the eventual cost per TitanX token you get at the end of your miner moves linearly, meaning that a 100 power miner and a 1 power miner have the exact same cost per Titan. The 1 miner just gets a lot less Titan at the end of the miner, but the cost is the same. So if possible, just do a max miner. It's easier to manage. There's no benefit in doing smaller power miners at all unless you don't have enough ETH for a max one or multiple max ones, or you have some ETH change you want to put to work. So that's just what I said. Do as big of a miner as you can. There's no benefits for doing a whole bunch of little ones. At whatever end, these are the penalties, guys. This is important. At whatever end date you specify when creating your miners, you can claim. After that day, you have a 7-day grace period in which you can claim your miners and not receive any penalties. After the 7-day grace period, this is the penalty zone. Day 1 late, you lose 1% of your claimable TitanX. 2 days late, 3%. 3 days late, 8%. 4 days, 17%. 5 days, 35%. 6 days, 72%. And if you're 7 days late claiming your miner, you lose 99% of that TitanX. So basically, it's a way. This is a way for companies to burn miners. They basically would create a max miner, and then they would not claim it, and that would burn a miner right there. Limits. Due to blockchain data reading limits, each wallet can have a maximum of 1,000 miners and 1,000 stakes. If you want to create more miners, you can do so on a second or third wallet. Also a good reason to do max miners if possible, because it's easier to manage and keep track of. There's no extra benefit in doing small ones unless you need to. Mining ETH distribution. So when you're mining for TitanX, you are spending ETH. So when the ETH goes into the pool, this is how it's distributed. This page only talks about the ETH that people use to create TitanX miners and what the TitanX protocol does with it. To mine TitanX, people use ETH plus time. The ETH gets given back to the users in a variety of ways to support the ecosystem growth as seen below. ETH distribution. 62% of the ETH gets sent to a decentralized buy and burn smart contract that buys TitanX off the market via the pool WETH TitanX, which is this one here. If you go to tools, buy TitanX, that is this pool right here, the ETH WETH TitanX pool. That's what you're buying it from. On Uniswap v3 and burning all the TitanX it buys. Okay, so 62% of the ETH basically buys TitanX off the market and burns it. That's a big chunk. It's pretty aggressive. 28% of the ETH goes to the payout circles used to pay out the TitanX stakers based on their number of shares. So 28% goes to pay out stakers. 7% of ETH goes to the burn pool used to pay out TitanX burners. That's the 8% we're talking about, based on how much they've burned in the last 28-day period. 3% of ETH goes to Genesis, which should have no expectations whatsoever. This may or may not be used to create deep liquidity between crucial pairs within the TitanX ecosystem. This is all done through smart contracts that users call and interact with using their own private keys. There's no central actor, authority, individual, group, or company doing any critical work whatsoever. It's completely decentralized, owned and ran by the users interacting with smart contracts deployed on the globally decentralized network called Ethereum. All right, let's do the daily update here, guys. This is very interesting. This is really what makes TitanX very unique and powerful and deflationary over time. For every new day that ticks over in the contract, these variables get updated. ETH cost for miners goes up 0.08% every day based on the day before. TitanX mineable per day of mining goes down 0.35% every day based on the day before. This mimics the Bitcoin halving, but does it every year instead of every 4 years. And it actually does it more than once a year. The T-rank bonus goes down 0.35% every day based on the day before. And the share rate, staking share rate, goes up 0.03% every day based on the day before. This means that it always becomes harder and more expensive to get Titan for every day that passes. The general rule for staking and mining is today is always better than tomorrow. So here are the start and the end values. The daily update keeps increasing and decreasing things until the minimum and or maximum caps below are hit. The ETH cost per max miner, when we start, it was just under a quarter of an ETH. That would get you 8 million TitanX. Now, just under a quarter of an ETH, we are 88. We're still real early, guys. Not even at this 500 yet. We are still under a quarter of an ETH here, so we're at day 92. But the ETH cost from day 0 to day 2000 goes from just under a quarter ETH to 1 ETH. And just under a quarter ETH will earn you 8 million day 1. And 1 ETH will earn you 800 in 2,000 days. So guys, in about 7 years, whatever price TitanX is at, which is going to have to be higher, I mean, for these numbers to work. I mean, imagine what the ETH is going to be at in 7 years. I mean, we might be looking at a $20 or $30 or $40,000 ETH. Possibly a $100,000 ETH. I don't know. Depends on your predictions. But say we're even at a $10,000, $20,000 ETH. I mean, that's massive. When you're looking at these numbers, that's how this project is built. Now, it's for the long term. For the long haul, guys. This is a long-term project. There's a lot of inflation right up in the beginning. The T-rank bonuses start at 2,200 per wallet, and they go down to 0.22 per wallet. Okay? And the share, the TitanX required to create one share, 800, and it goes up to 2,800. So that's kind of cool. TitanX required to create one share. So the share rate actually goes up over 4,000 days. Over 4,000 days, which is kind of nice. So to make things simple to understand, here's how this works. The cost to mine one TitanX moves up 55,000x. The cost per miner in ETH gets 5x more expensive from 0.2 ETH to 1 ETH. The TitanX per day per miner goes down from 11,000x, from 8.8 million to 800. Combined together, that's a 55,000x price floor increase on the cost to produce one TitanX. Since share rate moves up to 0.03% every day as well, from 800 to 2,800, it's a 3.5x increase. This plus the thing above means that the cost to produce one share in staking goes up 55,000x times 3.5x, which is 192,500x. The above is not a price prediction of any kind. It's just a description of the math inside the protocol describing the cost of production over time until the protocol hits its caps and should not be used or looked at as financial advice in any way, shape, or form. So this right here is the magic ingredient, guys. This is the daily update. And it's just, I mean, there's so many magic ingredients. So Jake put this thing together, Jake Sharp. So what you're going to also want to do if you haven't done that is you're going to want to find Jake Sharp. Boom. INKAYKNOWS. So it's at INKAYKNOWS. And that is the person who launched TitanX. And also the other guy you have to follow is Mike Dean, at Mike Dean Live. So definitely give those two guys a follow. And let's get right back into this here. This is the daily update. Like I said, this is what stands TitanX apart from basically everything else out there right now. Not the only thing, though. There's a couple things. This is the other thing that sets TitanX apart, because typically when you stake your other ecosystem coins, you'll stake the other coins and you'll earn the ecosystem coin. You're not going to earn ETH. So this time you earn ETH payouts to the stakers. You get rewarded in ETH whenever a payout cycle triggers based upon your percent of the total share pool. When you stake your TitanX, you get shares based upon the current share rate. The share rate goes up every day. More details in the daily update. The minimum stake length is 28 days and the maximum stake length is 3,500 days. And all share bonuses cap at 2888 days. Okay, so you could stake longer than 2888 days, but you're not going to get any bonuses for the difference between 2888 and 3,500. However, there's benefits to utilizing that 3,500 also. These are the rolling payout cycles. Every 8 days, every 28 days, every 90 days, 369, and every 888 days, there's a payout forever, right, to the stakers. The ETH is distributed like this. 28% of the ETH gets added to the 8-day payout. 28% is the 28-day, 18% 90-day, 18% 369, and 8% on the 888. And it never stops. These cycles will pay out forever as long as people participate in the protocol, and 28% of the ETH flows into the payout cycles for TitanX stakers. Yes, this also means that sometimes 2 payout cycles can trigger out on the same day. Okay, shares. When you stake your TitanX, you get shares in return. The number of shares you get depends on your current share rate at the time of your stake, plus the bonuses below. The longer pays more bonus. The longer you stake for, the more shares you get, up to a 350% bonus at day 2888. And after that day 2888 stake length, the bonus stays capped at 350%, but you can stake up to 3,500 days to earn as much yield as possible for as long as possible, as shares only get more expensive and much harder to get over time. So there's a longer pays more bonus, and there's also a bigger pays more bonus. This is the more TitanX you stake in a single stake, you get up to 8% extra bonus on your shares, capped at 100 billion TitanX. DragonX definitely hit that bonus. The number of shares you have compared to everybody else determines your percent of the ETH payouts. For example, if you have 1% of all shares, you get 1% of all the payouts cycles triggered during your staking period. Penalties. You pick a date for your stake to end when you start your stake. Try to end your stake on that day. If you don't end your stake on that day, there are some penalties. You have a 7-day grace period. Stakes are not allowed to be ended before 50% maturity. If your stake is ended after 50% maturity, but before the maturity date, you lose 50% of your TitanX in staked, gets sent to the dead address. You get 50% of your TitanX staked back. If the stake is not ended for 1 week after the grace period ends, you lose 1% of your TitanX per day until 99% is lost after 100 days. So in 100 days, an unclaimed stake will be burnt after 100 days. All right? Does that make sense? Ask me any questions in the comments, guys. I know this is kind of complicated, but it's really important to kind of understand this stuff. Burning ETH. Burn pool ETH payout. 7% of all the ETH that participates in mining TitanX goes towards something called the burn pool. This exists to handsomely reward users for staying active in the ecosystem and participating in other projects that are built on top of TitanX, like Hyper. Users that burn TitanX get a percent of this burn pool. For example, if the burn pool is $1 million worth of ETH, and the total TitanX burned in the rolling 28-day period is 200 billion, and a user burned 1 billion, they get a 0.5%. 1 billion divided by 200 billion. So it's $5,000 of the total burn pool at the end of the rolling 28-day cycle. This resets every 28 days and starts over and never stops. So that's just a burn pool ETH payout, which it's going to be hard to participate in that if we want to keep our liquid TitanX right now. Burn, but it will be built into some protocols on the platform. That's why these are there, really, to be utilized by the other protocols. Burn bonus amplifier. When a user burns TitanX, this gets saved in the smart contract under their wallet address. Based on how much you've burned in total on one specific wallet, you get a burn bonus amplifier up to 8%. You hit your 8% burn bonus amplifier once you've hit 80 billion TitanX burned in that wallet. Miners can be burned. I really did. I think I heard Jake say that is not going to happen, though. Stakes can be burned. He said he has the contract to make it happen, but I don't know. We got to find out, because I've read that twice now in this paper. Stakes can be burned. Liquid TitanX can be burned. It all counts towards the burn bonus amplifier. If the burn bonus amplifier gives the user more TitanX on all of their next miners, they start with the wallet. So I wonder if for Shogun, if I burn my stakes to get into Shogun, if that's going to count on my wallet towards this burn bonus amplifier. I wonder. All right, proof of burn 2.0. User burning. Users can burn their TitanX to transform it in other projects. Hyper will be one of the first projects built on TitanX as an example. Can Users can burn their TitanX to transform it into other projects, which is basically what DragonX is doing right now, as the first project built on top of TitanX. However, Titan Legends has also been launched, the NFTs, and I got my legendary. Whew, my legendary is pretty sweet. Okay, they could get a percent when users burn. They get handsomely rewarded for doing so. Here's a couple benefits. They could get a percent of their TitanX burned back, like cash back up to 8%. They increase their burn bonus amplifier, giving them an extra TitanX on their next miners that they start up to 8%. They earn a percent of the burn pool 28-day rolling payout, so they get a big chunk of their burn TitanX value back in ETH. Now that's pretty interesting. So yeah, that's pretty cool. There's a lot of benefits for burning. This is what the protocols are going to be utilizing. They get a proof of burn record attached to their wallet for potential future airdrops by projects that want to reward the TitanX community based on how much TitanX they burned. Very cool. Very cool. They get the token that they just transformed or burned their TitanX for. This is massive and never-ending rewards for the user to be actively participating in protocols built on TitanX like Hyper. Project burning. Projects built on TitanX can earn a percent of all the TitanX their protocols burn. This incentivizes builders to build and improve the ecosystem. Protocols can decide what percent of TitanX their protocols get as rewards, up to 8%, or they can do a combination of percent reward and percent given back to users. Example, they could set 3% dev reward fee and 5% TitanX rebate to the user. This would reward them with 3% of all TitanX burned by their protocol and give 5% of the burned TitanX back to the user. This 5% would have otherwise been burned, rewarding both the user and the protocol. We believe in capitalism and meritocracy. When builders add millions of dollars of value to the ecosystem and dedicate time and resources towards furthering the mission, they deserve to get paid handsomely. Love that. Cashback percentage. Project developers can set a rebate or cashback percent. Same thing when they give a percent of the TitanX burned back to the user, up to 8%. That's kind of nice. This applies to burning liquid TitanX and stake TitanX, not miners. See, first place I've seen it, not miners. Builder reward. Project developers need to get rewarded for their time and effort invested into this community. Therefore, they can set a builder reward percent up to 8% of all TitanX burned for their protocols. Builders should be and will be rewarded for their work. This is part of the coin's value of TitanX. This applies to burning liquid TitanX and stake TitanX, not miners. So yes, I agree with that. 8%, up to 8%, but I do agree with that. I think that's actually a good number. Buy and burn details. 62% of all the ETH that gets used to create virtual miners for TitanX gets sent to the TitanX buy and burn smart contract. This contract can be used by any builder on top of TitanX. The TitanX buy and burn smart contract can receive ETH or WETH. If it receives ETH, it will automatically wrap it to WETH for you, and it becomes available for users to call the buy and burn function on. If it receives ETH, it doesn't need to wrap it, and it can be used to buy and burn instantly. So if you're a project building on top of TitanX and want to implement a buy and burn that buys TitanX off the market and burns it, you can send a portion of the ETH protocol fee to our buy and burn contract, and it will take care of everything else. No need to build your own buy and burn smart contract. Notes on user incentives. Users get 0.33% of the ETH in distribute ETH as an incentive for calling the smart contract function and distribute ETH between payouts, buy and burn pool. The same 0.33% incentive reward applies to calling the buy and burn function that will buy TitanX off the market through the V3 pair and burn whatever amount TitanX it just bought. Both can be done inside of the TitanX dApp. Are you a builder? Yes, I am. TitanX is unique. You can build on it and instantly adopt a sophisticated, well-funded, and DeFi native community to your project protocol by integrating the burning of TitanX into it using Proof of Burn 2.0. We believe in capitalism and meritocracy. We don't believe in people adding value to the ecosystem and not getting handsomely rewarded for it. So, if you're a builder, you can make money and instantly attract a community by building on top of TitanX. Hyper is an example of such project and will set the precedent of what upper echelon building looks like. The biggest issue other ecosystems have is the fact that they have not cracked what God-tier tokenomics look like and what actually drives price, adoption, and community growth. Our buy and burn contracts are allowed to be used by the people building on top of TitanX for their projects that burn TitanX. Ooh, it just started raining. All you need to do is send ETH or WETH to our audited buy and burn contracts, and it will automatically handle everything for you to do to buy and burn TitanX. Here are some amazing game theory mechanics. These are just suggestions. Feel free to come up with your own interesting game theory or spin on things. Buy and burn. You can add an ETH protocol fee to the burning of TitanX for your protocol. We recommend to keep this fee low so more TitanX gets burned and you can get better community adoption. High fees limit the amount of TitanX users can participate in your protocol. You can use our buy and burn smart contracts to achieve this. You can either copy ours or directly send ETH into our buy and burn contracts, and the smart contract will take care of it for you. You can buy and burn TitanX with some of it. You can buy and burn your own project with some of it. You could add liquidity. It opens up a lot of flexibility for what you are trying to do. At the end of the day, buy pressure, liquidity, and community are all that matter. Okay, listen to that again. At the end of the day, buy pressure, liquidity, and community are all that matter. That's important. Real yield. You can give a % of the protocol fees back to the stakers of your project that burns TitanX. This keeps people engaged and gives your project a blue chip feel as they are earning a real crypto asset. Staking and time locks. Adding staking to your protocol is a great way for improving price performance as it disincentivizes people from dumping your tokens. Loyalty rewards. You can add loyalty rewards to your project. For example, give people a % more tokens or a % higher yield the more TitanX they burn from your project protocol. All right, that's it, guys. That's it. Now, if you go to this last page, audits and contracts, you can kind of check this out. This is a really important page if you're going to add TitanX to your wallet, to your MetaMask wallet or whatever wallet it is. So you click on the TitanX token there on Etherscan, and boom, there's the contract address. But not just there. On app.titanx.win, you can go to the bottom of the page, and you have the token address there also to add to your wallet. So that is the contract, guys. What is Hyper? Hyper will be the first protocol, but that's not true either right now, because it's not going to be the first protocol built on top of TitanX. Dragon was, and then Titan Legends. Down here we have the app, app.titanx.win. We have the Telegram link and the Telegram chat. So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for subscribing on my YouTube channel. We have over 2,000 subscribers now, guys. It's all about TitanX. I'm going to stick to TitanX for right now. There's some other cryptos I'm into, but for right now, I really love TitanX and the ecosystem. Let's go to Twitter, and you go to @CryptoAwesomely, and you can follow me there. And guys, thank you too. I have 115 followers now. You guys are amazing. Things are growing so fast. Check out my new dragon, man. This is my new dragon. I'm super stoked on this bad boy. But anyways, you guys are amazing. And until next time, my name's Dave. CryptoAwesome out.